These presentations explores applying Kant's categorical imperative to real-life ethical dilemmas. Kant's theory centers around these three formulations. The universal law: act only according to that maxim, whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. This means considering if an action, if universally applied, would lead to a contradiction or undesirable outcome. Humanity as an end. Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. This emphasizes respecting the inherent worth and dignity of all individuals. Autonomy and kingdom of ends. Act only so that your will can regard itself at the same time as making universal law through its maxims. This highlights the importance of self-governance and acting in accordance with principles that could universally adopted. This presentation will delve into real-world ethical dilemmas such as lying to protect someone, self-defense, and academic dishonesty, analyzing them through the lens of Kant's three formulation. Finally, it will address criticism of Kant's ethics, including their inflexibility, disregard for emotion, and the potential ambiguity in formulating maxims.
Universal law. Act accordingly to the maxim whereby you can at the same time will it become a universal law. Universal law, people decide whenever it morally principle for a person to perform an action by asking what would happen. Everybody feel free to do the same. They don't favor a one person or a group over another means that if a person believes a certain action is a right or wrong for them, they must also believe it right or wrong for anyone else in the same situation. On one scenario, cheating on class or exam, I ought not to cheat. In order to pass the test, in one word, do not lie. Why? Because lying is not acceptable in principle of.
Hi everyone, I'm Borgi Polanco and I'm discussing to all of you the Formulation 2 about humanity as an end. This says about act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of another, always at the same time as an end, never merely means. So Borgi, what the text means? What it means, we should always consider the people's feelings and well-being. We should not lie, cheat, or force people to do things they don't want to do. We should treat everyone fair and kindly. So, Borgi, what is the key idea of this? So, the key idea of this is a main part of Kant's philosophy, which focuses on doing what's right no matter what the result is. It's about treating everyone with respect, not just using them. In short, the slide I presented to you is a message. Be kind and respectful to everyone. Don't use people. And last, I will give you a quote about this topic. The quote is, treat others as you wish to be treated, and yourself too.
Formulation 2. Autonomy and Kingdom of Ends. Act only so that your will can regard itself at the same time as making universal law through its maxims. This means that before acting, one must consider whether the principle behind their action could be consistently willed as a universal law for everyone. If it leads to contradiction or undermines rational agency, the action is immoral. A critic lies in its rigidity. It struggles with conflicting duties and doesn't always account for the complexities of real-world situations where universalizing a maxim might be impractical or lead to unintended negative consequences. For example, consider lying. A maxim of always lie to protect a friend cannot be universalized without rendering lying meaningless and undermining trust. Applying this formulation requires careful reflection on the underlying principle of your action. So before making a decision, ask if everyone acted this way, would the system of morality still function rationally and justly? If the answer is no, the action is likely immoral according to this formulation. For instance, if someone considers stealing to alleviate poverty, they must consider that universalized act of stealing would collapse the economic system, making the act self-defeating and unethical. Applying this requires a careful self-examination and commitment to rational consistency and moral decision-making.
Ethical dilemmas. Scenario 1. Cheating on a class exam. Situation. Facing a crucial exam and lacking preparation. A scholarship student considers cheating to maintain their grades. Kant's rule. The categorical imperative says we should only do something if it would be okay for everyone to do it too. So, if the students cheats, they are saying it's okay for all students to cheat. But, if everyone cheats, then exams would be fair and grades would mean anything. This shows that cheating is not the right thing to do. Kant also said we must be honest and respect others. Cheating is not honest. It tricks the teacher and is unfair to other students, even if the student is scared of losing their scholarship. Cheating is still wrong, for Kant doing what is right is more important than getting a good result. Kant's categorical imperative has three parts. 1. Universal law. 2. Humanity as an end. 3. Kingdom of ends. Let's use these three parts to understand the cheating situation. Universal law. This asks, what if everyone did the same thing? If all students cheated, exams would be useless. Grades would not show who really learned. The school system would break, so cheating is not something everyone should do. Cheating is not moral. Number 2. Humanity as an end. This means treat people with respect, not like tools. When a student cheats, they trick the teacher and use others to get good grades. That's not respectful or honest. Cheating is not moral. Number 3. Kingdom of ends. This asks, would cheating be okay in a fair and honest world? No. In a good world, people are honest and follow rules. Cheating breaks trust. Cheating is not amoral. In all parts of Kant's rule, cheating is wrong. It goes against fairness, honesty, and respect. Even if the student is scared, cheating is not the right choice. It may help now, but it hurts trust later. The better way is to be honest, do your best, and learn from mistakes. Doing what right matters more than just getting a high grade.
Applying Kant's theory to real-life ethical dilemmas like self-defense requires evaluating action through the lens of his categorical imperative and the concept of humanity as an end itself. While self-preservation is a natural instinct, excessive force in self-defense treats the attacker merely as a means to one's own survival, violating the principle of a humanity as an end. A Kantian perspective necessitates using only the minimum force necessary to neutralize the threat, respecting the attacker's inherent worth and dignity, even in a conflict situation. This ensures the action remains consistent with a universal moral law and upholds the inherent value of all human beings. Applying Kant's concept of the kingdom of ends to real-life self-defense dilemmas means considering whether the action could be willed as a universal law within a community of rational beings. Excessive force in self-defense undermines the kingdom of ends by prioritizing individual survival above the inherent worth and rational autonomy of others, disrupting the ideal of a harmonious society governed by universal moral principles. A morally justifiable act of self-defense, therefore, requires limiting force to the minimum necessary to neutralize the threat, ensuring the action is consistent with the ideal of a rational and just society where all individuals are treated as ends in themselves.
Inflexible rules. Kant's categorical imperative applies universally, leaving little room for exceptions, even in morally complex situations. This rigidity can make Kantian ethics seem impractical or over-idealistic in real-world scenarios. Ignores emotions. Kant emphasizes duty over personal feelings or consequences. Critics argue that this dehumanizes moral decision-making as emotions play a vital role in ethical life. Unclear maxim formulation. The idea of acting only on maxims you can will to become universal law is difficult to apply consistently. People may formulate maxims different to justify morally questionable actions. The subjective nature of forming a universalizable maxim can weaken the theory's practical applications. Kant's ethics commands a respect for the moral law that is admirable, but in its demand for universality and disregard for emotion, it sometimes fails to guide us wisely through the complexities of life.